Hello, everyone. Hello. Ray, how's it going?
Going well. How about you?
Good, good. Doing well. Joe, how are you?
There we go. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Still recovering on sleep from Bristol, but doing well.
Same.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for being here. It looks like we've got a full room and it's 8:02, so we can go ahead and get started. But thank you all again for joining me on another Wednesday night and giving up some of your time. I'm hoping that this session should take approximately half an hour is my idea. But with that, Abby, if you want to hit record, we can go ahead and get started. So this is the follow-up or part two to the previous shadow session where we built some ad campaigns in Ads Manager. And if I could get maybe a show of hands, if you want to keep your camera off, feel free to use the raise your hand cursor. But who has created ads for your region that is here? Cheryl, awesome. Bob, Angela, cool. Okay, great. Rachel, Karen, perfect. Okay, I love to see it. How are they going generally? Does anyone have any thoughts or ideas you want to share?
Good evening. My early ones, I think were more effective than the most recent two. So part of why I'm anxious to figure out how to analyze and figure out where things went better or worse. So I,
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, I'll I have the screen share going, but I'll show you guys some of the things that I look for when I'm deciding how an ad is doing, if there's anything I need to fix, any tweaks to make. But Bob, if you want at the end of the session, if we have time, if you kind of want to share your screen, we can go through in live time and I'll give you my suggestions and see if anyone else catches anything. If you want to kind of compare the campaigns. Awesome. Well, we will go ahead and get started. So as you can see, I have our experiential ad account open, and right now we are looking at some of the ads that we are running for Autobahn for the Time Attack Challenge in just a few weeks. Um, so with that, the first thing that I look for, so right now I'm in the ad set view. When I am looking at a campaign, I want to look in ad set, but when you open up the account, it'll be on the campaigns tab. So here I just clicked Autobahn because that's one that I want to use as an example because you can see that we have multiple ads running or multiple ad sets running for different groups. We have videos and we have photo-based ads, and we have 3 different targets that we are using for each. So we have, we have 2 different targets that we are using, and then we are also running ads for the Track Night Special Edition as well as the Time Attack Challenge. So for this one event, we have a lot of different ad sets that we're looking at, and we're targeting different groups. So things like performance numbers are going to vary based on who we're targeting. With that, first things first, you want to look at the results right here in the middle. So the results is going to depend on what you are optimizing for. If you are optimizing for landing page views, it's going to show exactly what it shows here. Link clicks are very similar to landing page views. Some of our ads are set up to optimize for link clicks. Basically, if someone clicks on your ad and they close out of the tab before it actually shows them the page that you're trying to direct them to, it will still count as a link click. So we try to optimize for landing page views because the result counts as a result if they actually get to that page rather than just trying to take that step. So the action is pretty similar, but landing page views are generally what you'll want to go for, but if you have campaigns that are optimized for link clicks, that's by no means the wrong thing to do here. But you can see just how many landing page views they're getting. Right now, I have it shown for the last 30 days, but we can change that for maximum. We can change that for just today, right? So this one hasn't even gotten any landing page views because we're just looking at this one day. So we're gonna look at maximum, which is the entirety that the campaign has been running for. Reach, right next to results, is going to be the number of accounts that have been reached, and impressions is going to be the number of times that your ad was shown. And so an account can be hit with the same ad multiple times. So that would count as one reach, but potentially multiple impressions, depending on how many times they were shown that ad. Cost per result is the next one over. And that's going to be a good one to keep an eye on, because ultimately it determines how well your ad is performing, and your cost per result is going to vary based on a lot of different things. So you can see that the lowest cost per result that we have is 25 cents per landing page view, and that is for this Autobahn Track Night customers. And so this is a list-based advertisement rather than an interest-based advertisement. If y'all remember from the last session, we set up some list-based, some interest-based. Interest-based always is going to have a bigger potential audience and the potential to reach more people than list-based. However, if you have a customer list, these are people that have clearly taken action, and who are engaged. And so they are probably more likely to take action, and become customers for whatever event you are trying to advertise, rather than someone who might just have liked a lot of motorsport related pages on Facebook that you're targeting based on interest. So typically interest-based campaigns or interest targeted campaigns will have a lower cost per result than a list-based. However, these list-based ads have the potential to target people who are more likely to take action. So you'll probably see a higher cost per result for something that is list-based. So it's actually pretty ironic in this case that our lowest cost per result is on a list-based ad. That means that one is doing pretty well. Then if we go up to this Autobahn time trials customer video, we've got 44 cents per landing page view, which means that it's not performing as well. So this is, again, a list-based ad, but this is a video ad. We have one approximately 20 to 30 second video, rather than some photos that we're using in the creative. Usually I see a lower cost per result on videos, but videos, you really want to keep those short to like 20 seconds, no more than 30. Then the Autobahn, this broad time trial, is an interest-based ad, but it is a video. The one below it, the broad time trial, is an interest-based ad. This is the photo one. So the target that we are targeting is the exact same, but the creative that is used is different. Then you can see the amount that has been spent so far, right? So that's going to be based on your budget. It's going to try to evenly disperse your budget over however long you have a campaign running, whether it's 3 days or 3 months. So it's however much is spent is going to be based on whatever the total amount of the campaign is and how long it's been running. So right off the bat, I don't really see anything that is concerning. If something was like $1 per result, that's where I would start to get concerned. But I don't really see anything that's concerning. There are some recommendations that says you could get more landing page views by increasing your budget for 6 ad sets. Consider increasing your budget to get more results. That one I'm going to ignore. Sometimes they can be helpful, but Meta just telling me that I need to spend more money just doesn't doesn't feel like something that I want to take at face value and listen to. So we can move on to the next campaign to review. All right, so this one, now we're in the road racing account. And the only ad that we have running at the current moment is the 2025 race experience ad. So we only have one ad for this, or only one ad set in this campaign. If you remember from last time, you always start with a campaign, and then within a campaign, you can have multiple ad sets. And so an ad set is going to determine who you're targeting, where you're targeting, how much money you're spending, basically who are we trying to reach, and then the ad level is going to determine the creative we use. So the photo, any video, what links are we sending them to, what captions are we using, so forth. So this one, under delivery, it says that it is learning because I made a change to it yesterday. And so when an ad is in the learning phase, and that could take up to a week for an ad to be in the learning phase, it's not going to tell you if it is delivering correctly, if it has any suggestions for you to make. So that's something to keep in mind, that as soon as you turn an ad on, you aren't going to be able to get results as to how it's doing. Meta needs to figure it out before they can give you any suggestions or feedback. But this ad has been on for a while before I made edits to it, so I can still see all of the results. And so when I look at, again, we're going to change to maximum, I can see this one was optimized for link clicks. So again, in the future, we would go for landing page views, but if you set it up for link clicks, it's not the end of the world. We can see the reach, we can see the frequency. So how often are ad accounts typically seeing each of your ads? So here we see that the frequency is 1.79. So that might be something to consider. If the number is above 1, you might want to have different photos in it or different creative, because we want to make sure that people are still interested. So this is a photo carousel, and we'll go in and edit it really quickly so I can show you the difference. Some ads are set up so that you might have like a single photo, but this one is a photo carousel. So we have about half a dozen photos. Okay, we have 4. Typically, if I'm setting up a photo carousel, I'll go for like 3 to 6 photos that people can scroll through. And Meta will choose which photos to display first based on which people are looking at and they're not scrolling past or they're clicking on. And so which photos that they have data to show is the more engaging. They'll try to maximize your budget by showing those first. And so if you have an ad that is being shown to someone multiple times, you probably want to make sure that you have multiple photos. So that way, maybe they see another photo first the next time. Here we can see what the budget is. Budgets are always lifetime or daily. So you might have some campaigns that are set to be a lifetime budget. And basically they would just keep spending a different amount of money each day based on the duration of the campaign, how much your budget is, and when people are online and are active more, Meta will try to spend an average of your daily budget, but there might be some days where they spend like $2, some days where they spend $1. People are online on Wednesdays much more than they're online on like Saturdays or Sundays. Ray, I see you asked a question in the chat. You said 1.79 what? So 1.79 would be the number of times on average that accounts are seeing this ad. And a unique account is seeing this ad. So most people are seeing it more than once. And here on the right, we've got a quality ranking. So Meta is saying that this ad is performing above average, the engagement rate is above average, and the conversion rate, so people taking action, is above average. Now, where did I see the cost per result here? Is 0.9 or 0.09. So 9 cents, which is really, really good for one of our ads. One of the reasons that it is so low is because it is optimized for link clicks. So there are going to be a lot of people who click on the link, and as it's loading, they decide they actually didn't want to do that. Maybe they got impatient, maybe they accidentally clicked it, but typically link clicks are going to yield a lower cost per result than landing page views. So just something to keep in mind, even though that might look better. Once again, there's not a guarantee that they stay on that site, so it might not actually be better, but the metric definitely looks better. As we keep scrolling, we've got shop clicks. If you've got a shop set up in your site, we've got cost per link click, we've got link click-through rate, we've got all-time clicks, click-through rate. I really just look at the cost per result, which in this case is the cost per click. You can also look at cost per 1,000, but just to keep it simple, that cost per result is going to be one of the first metrics that you see when you get to this screen before you start scrolling over, and those are typically the ones that you want to look at, so as not to overwhelm yourself. Moving to the next example. Oh, here. So we're going to look in our membership account. And so these, when we go to the ad set level, I have two that I'm looking at. So you could just click through or click on the campaigns that you want to look at. And then you go to the right to the ad set, and then it's just going to show you those two campaigns, so that we're not opening all of them at once, and then our screen is just completely chaotic. So I have videos is just one ad set, and then it just one campaign, and then the rest that are all so broad membership and below are all a different campaign, and that's a campaign that has since been turned off. That was one that we were running from about this time last year until the end of 2024. But I wanted to use this as an example because the campaign was for the same goal, same target, but different ad sets, different creative. And that gave us the ability to evaluate how they were doing against each other. So we had 4 different photo-based ad sets and 4 different video-based ad sets. And I'll just show you here. We'll show you one of them as an example. So we had different photo carousels with different text, just again, a group of about 6 different photos showcasing different programs, showcasing a mix of people and cars and what we do. And they all served that same purpose, but that made it so that we could see like which ones are doing best and make decisions about which ones to keep on for longer. So here we can see that they all had the same budget, which was $2 daily. And these are all interest-based because they were for broad audiences. They were general motorsport interests. And we excluded SCCA members since the goal was to recruit members with this campaign. We can see that they were optimized for landing page views. But here we see that there's a big difference in how well they were performing and what our cost per result was. So that's something that if you wanted to, we could see that photo 1, which was the first one that I had chosen when I was creating all of these at the same time. It was the captions that came to me more quickly, the photos that I thought were more engaging that I chose to put in the first draft of these photo-based campaigns. And so I'm not shocked that it performed better. But compared to photo 4, which has 22 cents per landing page view, and this one has 5 cents per landing page view, we could then think, okay, do we want to keep both on? Do we want to turn photo 4 off and then add some more budget to photo 1? What do we want to do? That's, there's not a right answer. That's not a wrong answer. It's kind of up to you. Variety is good, but at the same time, if one is definitely getting you a lower cost per result, it's a more efficient use of your budget. Right now, we have video-based campaigns, so we have 2 different ad sets, and right now, well, actually, we have 1 ad set, but 2 different ads within this. And we can see they're 15 cents per landing page view versus 13 cents per landing page view. We have average and above average quality ranking and above average engagement rate ranking. So I think we definitely want to keep them both on because they're doing well. Let's see. Here you can see that how a campaign is delivering. So the campaign that we have currently on is active. This campaign is off. We see that there's a delivery error on 2 of these campaigns. Sometimes delivery errors are legitimate. Sometimes delivery errors are bugs on Meta's end, but you still have to change something on your end. So if this wasn't a campaign that we had just decided to turn off, I would go in to edit it, and I would see that it says review 1 error. This ad is not delivering. Try creating a new ad set with different settings to begin delivering to your audience. It's not actually telling me what the settings are. So that's something that I could poke around. Sometimes it is literally as easy as putting a space at the end and then publishing your changes, and it works. And sometimes you have to publish it like 3 times. And then maybe you'll add another space the next time, and maybe you'll add another space the next time, and finally the 3rd time's the charm, and it wants to work. Those are the times where I'm like, okay, Meta, did we have to do this today? But sometimes it's still, even if it's just a bug on their end, it's not going to show unless you fix it. So it's super important to have a regular schedule of going in and just making sure that there aren't any errors that you need to troubleshoot. Cheryl, I see your hand up.
Langley, I was looking when you had the stats up there. It's hard to tell because you don't see the images to kind of make your own decision. But I know in this world, a static image is not, unless it's a spectacular image and it's going to drag them in. But traditionally, something moving or a carousel, is that fair to say that a moving image or a carousel to hold their attention as they're scrolling through is a better way? And then is it just an image that catches their attention, or is it all the data about the event on that image that catches their, I mean, what, is there anything that you found? Because I'm looking at these and it's like video or it's a photo. I can look at the times, I can look at, landing pages and numbers, but it all depends on where it landed. And if it's that target audience, it's going to be higher.
Yeah.
So what have you found to catch for higher numbers in the actual?
So media habits are all different, unfortunately. And so there's different people who are going to like photos more, some people who like videos. And it really just depends. So a general recommendation is to have both. Have photo-based ads, have video-based ads. I am always a fan of photo carousels, which is just multiple photos in one ad. If you are going to do photos, that way they can choose to scroll through. Meta will also, you can choose your placements. So you can choose if something is going to show on Facebook Messenger, on Facebook Marketplace, on stories, on the feed, on the Instagram Explore page. It's all totally dependent on your audience. And I think that sometimes you can make generalizations about your audience if you learn a little bit more about their habits, but until you know what your audience's media habits are, it's always a good idea to just assume that they're all over the place. And unfortunately, that does mean a little bit more work on our ends, catering to all types, but having different campaigns set up. So we have some photo, we have some video. Sometimes we bounce around between the two, but moving forward, we're really trying to integrate both into our ad strategy.
Well, that is the proper answer, which is not the answer, but it's exactly true. You just don't know. It's like a BB in a boxcar. It's just every car is different and you just don't know what you're going to target. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. We will move on to the last example then, and I see it's 8:28, so I do think we're gonna go a little bit past the 8:30 time that I was targeting. If you need to get out of here by 8:30, I want to really quickly before we move to this next example, say one thing, which is that Meta, if you pay to advertise on Meta, they have a free help program where you will be assigned an agent, and they try to meet with you quarterly if you're enrolled in this program. When I came on, they didn't contact us for a while, and then when they did contact me, I think they were trying to use the wrong number or email address or something, and so we got enrolled in this program more recently, and I was told that if you don't attend these sessions regularly and schedule them regularly, then they will kind of drop you from the program. But if you are regularly meeting with this agent, it is totally free if you are advertising on Meta. And so that is something that I would 100% recommend, is to get in contact with this program. And so with that, is there anybody who has met with Meta's ad manager help support? Okay. If you would like to do so, please shoot me an email and I will drop my email in the chat here. It's lking@sdca.com. I have a call with our agent at the end of the month, and so I will ask about getting you all enrolled if that's something that you haven't been contacted about. Because generally Meta, unless you're a paying customer, it's really hard to get like one-on-one assistance. I have found with support stuff. So please shoot me an email. Please give me your name, your region's name, and if you have a different name that the page goes by on Facebook, please indicate that as well, and your phone number, so I can have them reach out to you and have them get this set up so that you can have these quarterly calls and get some help, because I think it's really helpful to get another set of eyes who's really trained in the system and getting their opinion on our ads, how they're performing, any changes that they would suggest. I think it's a really great program, and I would like to get you all set up with that. So if there's anyone who needed to leave at 8:30, that was the one thing that I did not want to miss. But I will continue for anyone who can stick around, hopefully like 10, 15 more minutes. And then if anyone has any questions or wants me to kind of look things over, then I'll stop sharing my screen and can pass the floor over to you. So now we are back in the experiential account. And right now we are looking at events. So we started boosting events a few months ago. So again, this is the campaign level. Now I'm going to the ad set level just for these boosted events. So we only have 3 that are in here right now. We have the Pocono Time Attack Challenge and Track Day. We have the Audubon Time Attack Challenge and Track Day, and the Targa Chicagoland event, each of which were boosted for $50 for event responses. So with boosting for event responses, I think you all have probably seen like events that you can say, I'm going, I'm interested in, or I'm not interested in on Facebook. That is awesome to drive some FOMO, make it feel like there's a lot of people attending. We don't actually know if they're converting from that and they're actually participating in the event, or it's someone who just clicks on a lot of events on Facebook. But like I just mentioned to Cheryl, everyone has different media habits. And so some people might spend a lot of time, especially in like a community focused environment, that want to attend a lot of local events. So we never know where the right place is to someone, because it's going to be different for everyone. So this is something that we've been trying out. We haven't put a whole lot of our advertising budget behind it, but you can see that the cost per result is going to be different. Sometimes I've found that there's a higher cost per result generally. I mean, these numbers are in line with the numbers that I was showing you earlier from the Pocono Time Attack Challenge and Track Day, but I find that generally they're a little bit higher for an event response than maybe link clicks to an interest-based target. But with that, we've been targeting interest-based audiences. And let me see. So those are all of the examples that I had to go through. I did have a couple more notes that I just wanted to make sure that I hit on. Sometimes under this delivery, you will see an orange icon that says creative fatigue. And what that means is that the ad is still delivering. There's not an error with it. Facebook hasn't decided to turn it off, but it is strongly suggesting that you change the fatigue. Maybe your ad has been on too long. If you've been running an ad for up to a year, people might be getting tired of seeing the same photo or the same video. So that's just it's gonna keep showing. It's not just suddenly gonna stop spending your money. And when it does stop spending your money, they don't tell you. They just stop. So that's why it's really important to make sure that we're going in Ads Manager and poking around to find these things for ourselves. But that warning just means that you should, as soon as you're able to, change the creative. If you are having an issue, you can turn the ad off completely. You can edit your budget if you feel like an ad is doing really well. If you're getting a really low, like sub 10-cent cost per result, and you're like, this is doing its job, we should spend more money on this, you can change the budget. On the flip side, if something's not performing well, you might want to decrease your budget or turn it off entirely. Sometimes there might be an ad that scares you, that looks like it's not doing well. There might be a really high cost per result, like 90 cents, $1.90. I had that, I think, just last week, and I was like, oh no, Andy, this ad is not doing well. This is not good. And she helped me figure out that it was just it wasn't set up to a pixel to the SCCA site. And so the ad was being shown and people were clicking on it, but we didn't have it set up correctly. So it I think was going to like a Motorsports Reg page, and instead of the SCCA pixel that we have linked to our ad account. And so that's something to keep in mind, that it might look warped and it might give you a heart attack if you have a really big budget on that ad. But it might not be doing as poorly as it seems if you have it, if you're sending people to your Motorsports Reg account. our Motorsports Reg page. Which if you don't have a strong homepage to send them to, it is definitely a good idea to send them to your Motorsports Reg page if that is the strong one. But just know that it might skew the results in the analytics. Again, this is why it's a really good idea to set up this program with Meta support and talk to them and get their advice and feedback. But I'm also, if you have any questions, I've dropped my email in the chat, so just send me an email if something comes up that scares you a little bit. Let's see. Last thing that you could do if there is an issue with your ad is to expand interests or targets potentially. If you feel like it looks like my camera is kind of glitching. Okay. If you feel like you're not targeting a big enough group, right? So if we started with automotive interests and we literally just said automotive interests, we could go in and we could add more. We could say Sports Car Club of America. There's other motorsport organizations that previously were options as interests. However, Meta is constantly changing, and so now they are rolling over like ourselves, Sports Car Club of America, like Porsche Club of America, other motorsport organizations have been rolled into an automotive interest. And so I do think that's a good thing because it kind of makes our lives easier because we can just write automotive instead of thinking like every single motorsports organization as we are setting up an ad. But generally, if you go in, there's more that you can add. You can say car racing, right? Like, do you have IndyCar? Do you have Formula One? Do you have car manufacturers? Do you have like BMW, Mazda? Some specific car models themselves are in there. There's things like adrenaline sports, a really broad interest might not always yield the best results, but if you feel like you want to reach a bigger audience, like it's a pretty narrow target, just kind of think what's one step further past what I am targeting and just kind of work your way out as you're adding interests. And also you can expand your geographic targeting. So if you start and you are, let's say in Atlanta and you're targeting like a 25-mile radius, maybe now we go to a 50-mile radius. Then maybe we go to the Atlanta DMA, which covers a much bigger space and area. Maybe we look into some neighboring DMAs. I know Atlanta's is really big, but some other cities might have a more narrow area, and just kind of starting small, but then expanding out if we feel a need. And depending on the program that you are advertising an event for, that geographic area is likely going to change, thinking about how far people are willing to go for maybe like a solo event versus a road racing event. With a road racing event, one last point that I wanted to wrap this up with is our road racing lists. If you have a customer list, our road racing license holder list is a much more narrow audience than our solo MSR customer list. And so if you have an ad running for this group, it is going to yield a higher cost per result, just simply due to the fact that there are less people to target. And so that's something that you want to kind of keep an open mind, keep a flexible, adaptable outlook towards, because it's going to change depending on what program, what event we are advertising. That was all I had for you. I know that was a lot of information, so please, if anyone has any questions at this point, the floor is open for questions, and I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen. No questions. That means we're all pros at ads manager now.
Hey, Langley, I have a question.
Yes.
So, kind of back to the earlier question about moving images versus static pictures.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do, do you find that perhaps dynamic photos in that carousel might be, because I know when I see the ads for the SCCA, it's not ever just here's a picture of a car. It's like a picture of the car with the blur and the tracks involved or whatever's involved. And, sometimes I guess sometimes it's like there will be people, and then obviously the people aren't just standing there; they're all over the place, and they're like, "Yeah, woo, this is great." So, do you think that that's probably the optimum use of photos? Is just that good dynamic action photo? Just roll it in a few because people only look at these things for 3.5 seconds anyway before they either do or don't click on it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely important for an image to be dynamic, for it to be high quality, right? Like the car is in motion. There's something going on. It's engaging. And then with the people photos, we generally find that people photos are actually more engaging than car photos, but at the same time, right, there's a reason that these people have these smiles on their face, and there's a reason that the people that we are hitting with these ads, they have expressed interest in the cars, and so we want to show them that this is a car event, but it's a car event that is putting smiles on people's faces, and so someone, whether it's like a game face and it's really intense, or whether it's people high-fiving or people laughing, like the camaraderie and just the emotion that is tied to an experience or being at one of our events are typically what make a really good dynamic photo. But also like having that balance, so offsetting cars and people.
Langley, this is Bob. I guess going to strategy. We create a Facebook event for each of our events coming up. And what
Okay.
we've been doing so far is the strategy is to get, to drive people to respond to the event. Hopefully, when they find the Facebook event, then they click through MSR and enter. That's what I hope. When I said earlier today that, the early ads seem to be a lot more effective than the most recent ones, I'm realizing through the course of this conversation, early on, we did that Dave Motorsports, basically no cost of entry, wide open, but it was one of those things that when we launched the Meta campaign, you literally could see the registration numbers, click up dramatically. More recent two have been a time attack and a endurance experience. And our cost went from 23 cents per event response to 55 cents on the time attack and 66 cents on the endurance experience. And my next one coming up is a road race. So is part of what first of all, is the clicking through to the Facebook event the right way to go? Or should we be trying to get people to go straight to MSR?
So you have ads running that direct to the Facebook event.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And then do you have the MSR link in the Facebook event?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Are the ads that are running that direct people to the Facebook event, have you boosted the event?
That's literally what they are. Right now,
Okay,
just
okay, good.
boosting the event. So
Okay, good. I think that's a good idea. I think that boosting events, as I was kind of showing, I think in the most recent example, it's something that is newer for us. But again, finding different ways to reach people based on different media habits, I think it's a really good idea. I wonder if it might be a good idea to run some ads that are not boosted events and kind of test and see if there's a difference, because there are going to be some people who don't look on the Facebook events. And I just know, like myself personally, I don't spend a ton of time in Facebook events, but there are some people who like that is their bread and butter and that is where they spend their time. And I think especially like for more local, like thinking for national events versus like regional events, I think that for regional events, it's probably a better idea. Y'all have more to gain from a boosted event, because I think that a lot of Facebook events are more like local, whereas for the like national tour events, we're trying to get people to maybe drive like hours, which, you know, some people might find Facebook events that are hours from them, but I think that Facebook events is a more community focused structure. So I think it is great that you guys are doing that, but I would see if you could divide your advertising budget and run some ads that are not boosted events and that just go straight to the MSR page.
Okay.
Something that we always just want to keep in mind, it not necessarily with social media ads, but just general marketing, is we want to make people's lives easier and make them have to make the least number of clicks to get to a destination. We want to make it as easy and straightforward, because every time that we're asking someone to take another step, that is another opportunity for them to say, nope, I don't want to take another click. So I think running events or running ads that would go straight to that MSR page are a good idea. But I love that you guys are doing the boosted events already.
Within a campaign, can I do the boosted event and the ads as part of the same campaign, or does that have to be two different campaigns?
What are the events optimizing for? Because a campaign has to be optimized for the same thing, whether that be landing page views, link clicks, event responses, whether it's video views, whatever it is. So if they have different goals, they would have to be separate campaigns.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because I haven't changed this, so by default, the event boost becomes optimized for event response. And obviously, if we're not doing, if we're doing an ad that goes straight to MSR, then that's going to be a link click, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So the link clicks and landing page views fall under traffic, because we're trying to send traffic somewhere. And then the event responses would fall under engagement, because we're asking them to engage on the ad. So unfortunately, yeah, you'd have to set up another campaign.
Okay, we're learning. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did anyone else have any questions or anything that I didn't hit on that you were hoping that I would? Oh, thank you, Rachel. I'm glad you could make it. I'm hoping this is helpful for y'all.
Yes, thank you so much. I just want to add, like, being able to see how you're running your campaigns and your ads, it's really beneficial, and we really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm hoping that this helps you guys get started in the right direction. And if you have any questions as you're working with the ad campaigns that you're setting up, please shoot me an email. And once again, my email is in the chat. If you would like to get enrolled in the Meta Ads Manager Support Program, please shoot me an email with your name, your region's Facebook page name, so whatever your page goes by, and your phone number, and I will try to get someone to contact you and get the ball rolling there. Was there anything we've got, it's 8:51, so for the last few minutes, did anybody want to share their screen and I can try to look at your ad account?
I'm willing to do that if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, sure. And then if anyone wants to stick around for this and just kind of see another look into Ads Manager and get some more information, but if you don't, you're also free to head out at this point.
So these are the three events that I spoke about. So the Day of Motorsports was purely a recruiting event, and then the time attack and the endurance race. So,
Okay. Mm. Would you be able to scroll to the right a little bit?
you bet. Say when.
We have this, okay, we have this on maximum. Okay, if you could pause there or actually move a little bit to the left.
Yep. What column? What column?
Well, I'll let you know when we get there. Here, if you wanna, yeah, if you just wanna stop there. Yeah, you have drastically different results.
Yeah.
When were each of the events?
So the Day of Motorsports was April, late April, like around the 19th.
Okay,
The time attack and endurance experience were both the same weekend, the weekend of June 28th.
okay. Okay, I wonder, would you be able to click on, let's start with the Day of Motorsports. If you want to hit the checkbox to the left, and then, oh,
Yeah.
and then go into edit, you'll see the little pencil that, if you go up about 4 rows, okay, there we go. And then if you could scroll down so I can see the audience that you're targeting. Okay, so Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Erie, Columbus, Youngstown, Toledo. And where are you located? Where is your region?
For Northeast Ohio, between Cleveland and Youngstown.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
If you want to keep scrolling down a little bit, so I can see if, are you using like interests?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Do you know if it's the same interest-based audience for all 3 events?
So what I've been doing is I've been using the Excel worksheet that you guys sent out
Okay, perfect.
and following the guidance in that. So where there's subtle differences, I think there's a lot of similarity across them, but where there are differences. And then the other thing is with the race experience, I expanded the geographic significantly more. The time attack, I think it was bigger than this, but you know, it was kind of like, where do we know, where do our current time attack competitors come from?
Yeah. Let me take a look at the ad level to see the creative that you've used.
Okay, how do I get you there?
So if on the left-hand column, the ad set level is in blue because that's what we're viewing right now. And right below it, immediately, oh, sorry, one more to the right. Yeah, right there. Perfect. You want to click on that one? Okay, and then if you want to scroll down a little bit. Okay. And this is the one that was performing the best, is that correct? There was like the 23-cent cost per result.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I said, the barrier, it was free event, so
Yeah. Oh, that was the free event.
yep. But like I said, as soon as the campaign launched, like
Mhm.
if you watch the chart on MSR,
Yeah,
you
that's
saw
awesome.
the number of people registering per day went from like 2 or 3 to like 6, 7, 8,
Wow.
10.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Did you have any text that indicated that it was a free event on the advertisement?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Once something has ended, once a campaign has ended, it makes it really hard to actually see
Mhm.
each of the all of the text options and all the creative. Like it just gives you that little preview rather than showing you the whole thing.
Mhm.
Something that if we wanted to dive deeper, which I don't want to mess anything up, you could like extend the date that you have something open for, if you want to go in or and look at it. But based on it being a free event and like your targeting looks good, the creative looks good, I'm gonna chalk it up to it being a free event and having free in the advertisement in the text, because everyone loves something that's free, and right, we're more likely to take action. But clearly it had benefit and worked if it ended up getting people out to the event. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it definitely, for this and for our street survival, there was a very direct correlation between launching the campaign and seeing entries go up.
If you want to look at the ad set or the ad level for either of the other two ads,
Mhm.
just so I can kind of put eyes on it and see if
Sure.
there's anything glaring that
Nice.
exists there, but I would guess that it's probably it being a free event.
Okay. Oh, might have gone back too far there. I did. Okay. You wanna, which?
Yeah, if you want to click just the other two, check the other two, the boxes, and then go back to edit.
Uh,
Oh yeah. And then, yeah, that's showing the race experience. So we're looking at the ad set level. If you want to scroll down, it looks like it does look like we have a bigger, if you want to scroll back up a little bit, sorry.
Yep.
A little bit. Oh, you mentioned that you expanded the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
Race experience, that's right.
This is the race, the endurance experience, so.
Mhm. Okay, and then if you want to go down, but right, that was an intentional change that you made.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not an oversight. It was right. It was intentional. So I don't see any issues with it. And if those are the suggested interests, like I mentioned, that's something that if you wanted to, like, right, you're not pleased with how it's doing,
Mhm.
you can try to think of some other interests. If you see that Sports Car Club of America right there, there's a little warning indicator. And
Yeah,
so that's what I had mentioned, that Meta is always changing its interests. And so I thought it was automotive. It's sports that it got to
okay.
do, as well as some other organizations. So that's one that if you're like, I'm just not happy, maybe add motorsport
Well,
to
they
that
did
list.
it with IMSA also.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And endurance racing. So
No,
they're just keeping
Good.
us on our toes.
all my favorites.
Want to make sure that we're not getting too comfortable. But no, I think it looks good. So I think a big factor is probably free. But if you want to go to the ad level, I can look at the creative that was used.
And yeah, I'm gonna say, I've generally put copy with these, maybe
Yeah.
too much copy sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. You want to keep it simple. You want to kind of give people enough information, but right, not overwhelm them if
Mhm.
there's just too much, or if a video is too long. We're gonna kind of check out. I like that you tied it into like the patriotic look. I wonder if you could add a photo of a car or a person to that, though, to
Mhm.
kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, you have the Nelson Ledges logo on there, and right, the
Yeah.
track map is on there, and there's a checkered flag, and obviously the information about what the event type is in the copy, but if it's possible to add a photo of a car, I think
Mhm.
that could help make it a little more engaging.
Okay. Well, and then here, if you don't mind, I'll click
Yeah.
on time attack Because
For
we
sure.
definitely have some different looks going on and things that we're doing. There we go. Roasted. So
Ooh,
that's the
I
time
like
to
it.
kind of the same.
I
way.
like it. Yeah.
Mm.
I like the way that you worked the holiday
Mhm.
into the cars and integrated both there. I think that's really strong.
I can't take all the credit. There's people on my team who come up with this art and I just use it.
Hey, it takes a village. It really does take a village. And that's why we all got our strengths and ways that we can help out. So I'm glad that you guys are clearly working together.
All right. So anything
No,
else?
I think it looks good. Yeah, and if your targeting on the ad set level is consistent with the other two.
Yeah, I think I didn't go with as many states on this one, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back to more of
Okay.
I came out of the old agency world, so DMA makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I did there was a hole in Pennsylvania that I couldn't get to, so based on what you taught us last time, I did State College in a 50-mile radius. So.
Okay, right. No, that's right. Yeah. There's not a DMA in that area. I mean, I think that it's just knowing like your event type and knowing the barriers to entry for that event type and how willing people are to travel. I think that if someone owns a car with the cage that is needed to participate in an endurance race experience, they might be a little bit more willing to travel further for an event because clearly they've taken that step and have committed to having a car with more requirements than something like a time trial or a solo event, where you don't need as much of a barrier to entry, and so it might be easier to find people willing to participate in an event that are more local to your area. So
I see, and I don't remember doing this consciously, manual placements. Should I be figuring out how to use the Advantage Plus pay placements?
I always use the Advantage Plus placements, but that's something that if you have a smaller budget on a campaign,
Mhm.
the Meta's team actually recommends doing manual placements because that way, like let's say there's no testing. If you're sticking to manual placements and if you think that you know your audience and you feel confident, sometimes testing can produce better results, but sometimes it will be showing on a placement that might not be the right option. Now, it will make changes moving forward based on how it's performing, but as it is determining and when it is in that learning phase, um, some of your budget might not be spent the most efficiently. So if you have a smaller budget that you're working with, but who's to say that we know better than the AI in that regard? I mean, sometimes I think I do, but sometimes I don't think that I do. So it's up to you, but I always just I do the Advantage Plus placements.
Okay. Now I'll definitely give that a try this next time. So, like I said, I don't remember consciously choosing manual placements, but maybe it's a function of the other information I put in. And then one quick question for you. You said and like I said, my next event up is a road race. You said you have a list of road racers. Obviously, I've got the folks who've registered for events.
Okay.
I don't have their Facebook information. All I have is the email address that they use to register through Motorsports Reg. Do you have a way that you target those people through Meta?
Do you have their first and their last names?
Yeah.
And do you have like their state that they're from?
Yep.
If you
Yeah.
can put that in a CSV file, you can upload a list. And so it might take some like manual, like figuring out the lists and the columns and making sure that we're just selecting the most pertinent information. But you can you can set up a list. Let me see. what when are you going to be launching this ad?
I probably should launch it soon because our event is like the third weekend in September.
Okay, okay, that might be something that I can do a pre-recorded session on and show like how you get a list up if that's something you're struggling with. And I can help you there. So why don't you try to upload a list basically as you are going in. Let me
Should I stop sharing?
if you want to stop sharing your screen,
Yep.
I'll try to show you something really quickly. And then Cheryl, I see that you have your hand raised. Let me get through this point and then I will come to your question.
If you're going to be just a quick minute, my question is actually for Bob McDonald. So if you're looking up something I could ask while you're doing that, will that work?
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
I want to take advantage of your putting ads out. Are you going to put out an ad for the United States Road Rally Challenge this fall?
Oh, we should. We absolutely should.
You absolutely should.
Yeah.
And yeah, Philip Royal's on here. He's gone, oh God, there she goes again. But yeah, because I would like you to share your findings on putting that together for the road, for the United States Road Rally Challenge with the RRDC, the Road Rally Development Committee, so we could help get that word out to regions as well to make them aware that there is success. We've talked about it on some of the sessions and it was covered during the convention quite nicely. Yet there's a perception, I think, when you say, oh, we're going to advertise, well, we don't have money. And as you know, with Road Rally, we really don't have a lot. But with a $25 or $30 budget, you can get some worms out of the wood with, it works. So,
Right. Yep.
so just wanted to put that out if you could share, and I'm curious to see what you're gonna put together.
Thank you for planting that seed. I need to get with my buddy Greg Lester and
Oh, yes.
get the he actually, I know, yeah, he has sent us some stuff for promotion. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We should be doing that. So thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so I've just opened up a new campaign. So I just random campaign. This is a traffic campaign. You're going to add a list on the ad set level. So once you go to audience, and I just switched to the original audience, which actually. Okay, so just creating a new campaign. Scrolling down, this is all stuff that you would be editing, that you would get to before we're at this step. But this is a mock, so you're gonna switch to original audience option. Use original audience to upload a new list. If you already had a list saved and you had this audience saved, you could use the newer audience options. But you'll go to custom audiences and you can see like these are the lists that we have
Oh, okay.
used pretty often.
Uh-huh.
But oh God, where did it go? Oh, create new custom audience,
Mhm.
your sources, customer list. And now here it either has to be a CSV or a TXT file.
Uh-huh.
You have to have at least 100 customers on there. It has to have at least one main identifier, and you use the correct column formatting that matches each identifier type. So it asks for like email, phone number, if you have a mobile advertiser ID, which you probably don't,
No.
you probably don't have their Facebook page user ID, but you probably have their first name and their last name. And then oftentimes it'll ask for more information if you just have the more vague levels, so first name and last name, and like email and phone number, it might ask for like state with that. And it might take some manipulation of the list if you have like just entered name. And so it might have an individual who it's like their first name and their middle initial and their last name. And then it might have an individual with their first name and their last name. It might have an individual with their first, their middle, and their last. It might take some manipulation to make sure that your columns are just first name and last name.
Yeah.
But with that, look up Excel tutorials.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm reasonably comfortable in Excel, so I can make a CSV out of Excel.
Good, good. Okay.
And I can download all our MSR data. It's a little clunky. MSR is a little clunky. But I can download the data from past events.
Okay. Cool. Then it sounds like you're on the right track. Yeah, it's at that point it just becomes uploading the files. It sounds like you've got the hard steps down, but if you have any trouble along the way, just let me know. And
I'm sure I'll be reaching out with questions.
perfect. Yeah, I can try to like pre-record something, or if you need to like hop on a call.
Yep.
Get it figured out.
Well, I know Abby's recording this, so I'll be able to go back and watch it to remember where that button was.
Scroll to the end of the recording and
Yep.
there. And I am making sure to delete these 2 mock campaigns that I have
Yeah.
that I have put in the
Thank you.
draft. Did anybody else have any questions that's still here? Thank you guys for sticking around.
Thank you for humoring me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being willing to share your screen and kind of show the group what you guys are doing. It looks like y'all are on the right track for sure. So hopefully this session was helpful, and not just to you, Bob, but to everyone who is still here and who was here. And let me know if there's anything else I can do to help you guys. Appreciate all of your time this Wednesday evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
Night.
We'll see ya. Ray, will I be seeing you in Autobahn? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
And
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
some of us still have like another 15 minutes of our workday left. It's only 5:15 here.
Cheryl, where are you from?
Alaska.
Oh my goodness.
So Yeah.
Wow.
good session.
Good. I'm glad this was helpful for you.
I'm embarrassed I haven't made an ad yet, but I'll get there.
It's okay. It's a process, and it's kind of a zoo in Meta Ads Manager.
Yeah.
So I understand the hold on that, but I mean, I think it's a good tool. So
Yeah. We'll get there.
let me know if you need help in doing so.
Thanks, Langley.
Anytime.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.